travelers, and welcome to Go See Do Explore.
Here we dive deep into the world of travel, sharing practical tips, can't-miss experiences, and the insights to help you make the most of every trip.
Whether you're a seasoned explorer or just starting to plan your next getaway, you're in the right place to get inspired and equipped.
I'm Christopher.
And I'm Ashley.
And together, we'll help you chart your next adventure, discover what to see and do, and share the stories that bring each place to life.
It's time to go, see, and do more. Let's explore. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Go See Do Explore podcast, Outdoor Edition.
Outdoor Edition. We've switched sides too. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't notice.
This is when, before we recorded with video, I used to always sit on this side. And then when we started, for whatever reason, we started recording on video, we switched. Then we're back to our original arrangement.
So for this week's episode, we're going to do a little news roundup for the month of April 2024.
Yeah, that sounds good. But should we talk about where we are first?
Oh,
yeah. So we're here in Traverse City State Park in Traverse City, Michigan, and this is our first camping outing of the year. And so it's a little chilly. Wearing gloves.
Coat.
We're up here wine tasting.
Of course.
And we have especially some wineries to go to today to complete for the book that we're working on, official announcement to come. But in the meantime, we're here with our runaway range runner, or a little 6x8 camper that we camp in. And we're sitting in front of it now having some tire time, as we call it, because it seems like everyone always hangs out by their tires when they camp. So anyway, but yeah, we're on to the news, which I know probably very little about.
There's a few stories that I've shared with you. They were, when they happened, it needed to be discussed immediately.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, yeah.
All right. So our first piece of airline news is that a United flight had to turn around because the pilot forgot his passport.
Yeah, you did tell me about that. That's crazy.
The flight was supposed to go from LA to Shanghai. When about 2 hours into it, the pilot realized he didn't have his passport. So they had to turn around and they had to bring in a new pilot.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that other than that's just crazy. And it seems, I'm sure they do have procedures in place to try to prevent that from happening, but obviously whatever failed. And
yes,
he realized a couple hours out. At least they didn't get all the way there.
He would have been in trouble.
I don't know. Yeah, what would even happen? I don't know.
You have to sit on the plane until somebody else brings his passport.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so that's crazy. I feel like 2025 so far has been the year of like bizarre things happening in the airline industry. And yeah, that's just another one of those.
Yeah, definitely.
This is another one that we have talked about, and maybe it doesn't apply to most people, but since Spirit Airlines is mentioned in about every single one of these, I had to include this. Spirit, which is now out of its bankruptcy proceedings, they are adding 15 routes out of Detroit.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It's very exciting.
It's exciting for us,
Yes.
People who fly to or from Detroit. More routes, and I know I've said this before, but just keep in mind, even if you don't fly Spirit, more routes in and out of an airport means lower prices. It means that if people have more options to fly less expensively, then Delta can't charge quite as much on their routes either. So it's good news for you either way if you fly to or from Detroit.
Yes. And this article talks about how they're coming for Delta, which I don't know if that was necessarily their plan when they decided this, but we've talked before that Spirit is like the number 2 airline out of Detroit. So them adding routes, like they're coming for Delta, which is number 1 because Detroit is a Delta hub.
And let me just say, this is just my opinion, so no one come at me. We love flying Delta, but Delta is arrogant right now and they are overpriced. On most routes, Delta is overpriced. And it's not just Spirit. United and American, the other legacy carriers here in the U.S., have definitely been positioning themselves to take a lot of Delta's market share. So, like, you watch this happen. If Delta doesn't change the way they're doing pricing, just my opinion, but I believe that you're going to see them losing market share to a lot of these other airlines.
So these new routes on Spirit are beginning in May and June, and I'm just going to read them if you don't mind. Birmingham, Hartford, Louisville, Milwaukee, Norfolk, Punta Cana, Richmond, Salt Lake City, St. Louis are all new direct routes that Spirit is flying from Detroit. And then they've got some routes that are returning, including Austin, Charleston, Kansas City, Phoenix, San Diego, and San Juan.
Yeah, I'm really excited for San Juan to come back.
Yes.
The direct.
Yes, and hopefully it stays. If you are interested in this, I will put a link to this article with details about when the flights begin, how often they'll be running them, and everything. A link to that will be in the show notes. All right, our next little bit of news. Ryanair, the infamous ultra low-cost carrier in Europe, is debuting its first membership program
Okay.
that comes with some serious perks.
Is this kind of like the Frontier thing or more?
Let's see.
Because Frontier has a plan that
And so does Spirit. What
Oh.
used to be the $9 flight club or whatever.
$9 fare club.
Fare club.
Now it's just I don't know, but we're in it. Whatever it is, we're in it. Because we fly Spirit enough.
Yes. So the program will offer discounted tickets, free seat assignment, and travel insurance. The seat reservation benefit allows members to choose their seats. However, it is limited to a maximum of 12 per year. This Ryanair program costs 79 British pounds per year, which is about $102. And they say if you fly on them 12 times a year, you could save approximately $543 with this subscription, which that's a lot of money
Yeah.
for 12 trips. I'm not going to do that math, but
Yeah.
that's a good bit of money.
Yeah.
But it seems a lot like what Frontier and Spirit, although
Okay.
Frontier and Spirit don't give you free seats or any of that other stuff. It's
No.
just a discount, isn't it?
When I mentioned Frontier, I was thinking of the one where you can pay and fly. But it's not like that either. I wasn't thinking of the discount den.
No, this article mentions the discount den and the free Spirit program, but they're not really the same at all. And then obviously the legacy carriers all have their frequent flyer loyalty programs. But yeah, this is an interesting idea. And if you do fly Ryanair, and probably, I don't even know that you'd have to do it. What did they say, 12 times for that cost?
Yeah.
If you fly them probably just 2 or 3 times a year, you'd probably get that money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. In other airline news, American Airlines is bringing free Wi-Fi to its flights in 2026.
It's about time.
It's about time. How long has Delta been doing this?
It became free in 2022.
Yeah.
It was free for Delta Sky Miles.
And it's the
which
same thing. If you're an A Advantage member, you will be able to use their Wi-Fi for free. And the thing that I find crazy about this, like you mentioned, like it's about time. Delta has been doing this for 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that. It's going to take them until 2026 to roll this out. Like what?
Maybe they need better bandwidth to support
maybe.
more people doing it. I've flown American a lot the past few years. And of all the airlines I've flown for work, I think I've flown American the most. And that's the situation where I usually pay for Wi-Fi when I'm working, not because the company pays for it, but because I need it to
Do
work.
your job, yeah.
Yeah. And it varies wildly in price between planes. And some planes don't have it. So I'd imagine they probably have to outfit some planes. And the fact that it changes in price tells me that the technology is different on each plane, and they probably need to beef up what they have to use, like what Delta and what Spirit. Yes, Spirit also has good Wi-Fi. It's not free, but it's good.
What I find funny about that is when Delta offered their Wi-Fi free for everyone, I feel like it was like an announcement and then it was like that day
Yeah.
or like that week.
They must have been working to it quietly.
Yes. And I feel like this is like American being like, hey, don't complain. We're trying we're getting there. Stop complaining.
I could be wrong, but I seem to remember when we flew in June of 2023, when we went to Orlando, that like we got it free on that flight and they had just announced it. So 23, not 22, I was confused, but that's what I remember.
Our next bit of airline news, Fiji Airways joins the One World Alliance.
Okay. So that would mean that you could probably book on American to Fiji.
Yes.
So good flights out of Chicago, maybe, to Fiji? Or like
And this article, I think this article mentioned like Dallas to Fiji.
That makes sense.
Fiji Airways serves 25 destinations in 14 countries, including Honolulu, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Dallas-Fort Worth in the U.S. I'm guessing Nadi is their like hub in Fiji. They launched Nadi to Dallas in December.
Direct.
Yes. We were looking, remember when they first released those, we were looking at those flights because they were very cheap. And I remember thinking, I think we could go to Fiji for less than we could go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Although lately we've seen some Hawaii flights.
Yeah, thanks to United. I don't know if you've got that. We talked about that one in the last news episode.
The Chicago to
Yeah.
Yeah.
United, if you're looking to go to Hawaii, check flights out of your closest United hub because they got some new routes and it seems like their prices are really low right now. So would recommend that.
All right. And our last little bit of airline news, which will come as a surprise, I think, to a lot of people. WalletHub.com just released its airline rating system for 2025. They compared the 9 largest U.S. airlines plus 2 regional carriers across 14 metrics that range from cancellation and delay rates to baggage mishaps and in-flight comfort. They put all of these metrics together and determined that the best overall airline in the United States is, people that are watching this are not prepared for
You're
this.
not going to have a,
It is Spirit Airlines.
oh, wow. That was such a shock. And it's funny, I feel like, because our very first episode, if you haven't listened to our very first episode of this podcast was the case for low-cost airlines. Because we know people in our own lives, like when we mentioned we would fly Spirit or Frontier or something like that, they're just like, oh, I would never. The planes are just dropping out of the sky. I don't know what it is, but the fact of the matter is, we don't love flying low-cost airlines. We don't. Like, we would rather fly a really nice airline. But sometimes just the economics are so much better. And this Wallet Hub report, which I've read, this is not a surprise to me.
This one's not a
Like,
surprise, no.
yeah.
When I read this, I sent it to him
Yeah.
immediately. You are not going to get
It really bears out that depending on the route, depending on the flight, sometimes booking something like Spirit is a lot better for like financially and experience-wise. The only thing Spirit did really poorly on was comfort.
Of course.
Which
If you've
we-
ever
yeah.
flown Spirit, it's like the least comfortable airline in
Yeah.
the world. I say the seats feel like that metal folding chair they pull out at church that's like from 1980s or whatever.
Yeah.
It's horribly uncomfortable.
It is. But overall, like, I was just happy to see this, not because we're like Spirit Airlines, we think is like the most excellent experience you're ever going to have, but because like it just like the math bears out. You buy a cheap ticket, you buy add-ons, sometimes it's still less. The other thing I really want to mention about this one that I think is really important is that they did the best on safety.
Yes.
They did the best on safety, which like that's I feel like one of the things people often they dismiss these airlines because they think they're unsafe. It was okay, who has crashed in the last year and who hasn't?
Both Delta and American have had newsworthy crashes this year. So that put them both lower than any other airline.
Yeah.
And although that wasn't this year, but like Alaska had the door fly off. And
Yeah.
you haven't been
Everyone
hearing.
inside the plane was fine. Yeah.
But so Spirit scored the best in best overall, like I mentioned, most affordable, obviously, also safest. The most reliable airline, though, was Delta.
Right. Spirit's on time is trash compared to Delta. That's for sure.
We've talked before about the Flighty app and how we love the Flighty app. So you can put in all of your flights. If you get like the premium membership, you can put in all your historic flights and you can look year by year at like different statistics. And as of right now, for this year, we've only flown a handful of times and we have 2 hours lost to delays from Spirit Airlines. Granted, it was the winter and the planes were icy and there was like a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff that probably other airlines would have been having going on at the same time. But
Yeah.
most comfortable, interestingly, was not Delta. Blue and Hawaiian tied for most comfortable.
Yeah, that made me want to fly those. We've never flown either of those airlines. It made me want to check those out.
And the best airline for pets was tied at SkyWest, United, and Envoy Air. So
West and Envoy are both regional carriers.
that might-
SkyWest is, let's see if I get this right. I think SkyWest is Delta's and Envoy. So like when you fly Delta Connect and Envoy is Americans, I'm pretty sure. So like when you get the little planes from like the other terminal, that's those.
But yeah, maybe don't turn your nose up at Spirit Airlines. That's all we're going to say.
And fly Spirit to Detroit. We know that the Detroit searches are up. We've got plenty of Detroit content here too, and more certainly coming eventually. So yeah, reach out to us if you've got Detroit questions. We're happy to talk Detroit.
All right, that will be the end of our airline news. Let's go to a wine break.
Okay, time for the wine break. Here at Dune Bird for a quick wine break, since we said we were tasting wine in northern Michigan. This is a new winery to us, but we wanted to come check it out. And I have the dry Riesling, the Pinot Noir, and one called the Aviate, because this place seems to be aviation themed. I tried everything a little bit just before we were recording, and I really liked all of it. I especially like this Pinot Noir. It's got a lot of oak flavor, but it's very balanced. It's not out of control. Oak could really overpower a Pinot Noir, and in this case, that's not happening. What do you have?
I have the Pure Leland and the Manitou Sky, which are both dry sparkling wines, and then I have the rosé. So far, everything has been very good.
Yeah. So kicking off a fun day of wine tasting here. So quick wine break on location, a good wine break.
I want to show the logo because I think it's.
Oh yeah.
Can you see this?
Yeah. Dune Bird. Come check it out.
All right, we are back with more travel news, and we're going to dig into some cruise news. The first little bit of cruise news that I have is that Royal Caribbean is suspending stops in its private island of Labadee due to ongoing unrest in Haiti.
Yeah, not surprising.
They suspended stops there back last summer because it was unsafe. Currently, Haiti has a level 4 travel advisory from the State Department. That is the do not travel advisory. And the embassy in Haiti just released some more warnings about that. So Royal Caribbean, it's on Haiti, but it's like a fenced off area that's you're not able to get to the main part of Haiti from Labadee, but just out of an abundance of caution, canceling their stops there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, my understanding, which might not be the most current situation, but my understanding when we were reading about this last year was that Haiti basically doesn't have a government at this point, that there's no functional government on Haiti, that it's essentially just ruled by whoever has the most power. And that's really sad.
It's sad.
And they don't really have a lot of friends in the world. Yeah, hopefully.
They have a lot of natural disasters. Like it's
Yeah. And so
a sad place.
we can be hopeful that someday the situation there will be better, but it's hard to see right now how that will happen.
Our next bit of cruise news, a small ship cruise line is returning 2 ships to the Great Lakes.
Okay.
Liberty Cruise Line is relaunching the Victory 1 and the Victory 2. Itineraries will range from 9 to 14 nights and include shore excursions, onboard lectures, and multiple dining options. Prices start at $4,999 per person, and that covers pre-cruise accommodations, transfers, meals, drinks, and various onboard amenities.
Okay. I just want to point out, if you look over there, you can see a Great Lake.
Oh, yes.
There's one right there.
Yeah, it's right over there.
A bay of Lake Michigan.
A bay, yeah.
Right there.
You have to go across the campground, across a road, over some giant resorts. But there is a Great Lake over there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool because they're going to do sailings around the 5 Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence. And this is something that I've always thought would be a lot of fun, but obviously they're much smaller ships, so the price is not really comparable to those of the big ocean sailing cruise ships. They're also going to be sailing to the French Canadian maritime provinces, which
fun.
would be
Yeah.
pretty cool. The ships were owned by the American Queen Voyages before it shut down last year. And I guess they're going to be rebranding as Victory Cruise Lines.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel Viking, was that maybe 2 years ago, they started Great Lakes cruises. And so I feel like that industry is growing a little bit. But as I mentioned, yeah, the prices for a Great Lakes cruise, it's more comparable, I think, to a river cruise than it is to an ocean, big ship, traditional cruise that you think of.
No casinos, American wages. Those 2 things pretty much make it a lot more expensive than an ocean cruise.
Another bit of kind of small ship cruise news, Ama Water, which is a river cruise company. They do river cruises in Europe. They're going to be debuting in Colombia.
Oh, on rivers in Colombia?
On the Magdalena River in Colombia.
Not the Orinoco. I think it's in Venezuela. They might go to Colombia though too. Just thought they could sing that Ennio song.
And get some tacos in Mexico City. The ship is the Ama Magdalena, and it set sail earlier this month. It is the first river cruise to be operating in Colombia currently. There was one years ago, I think it maybe 20 years ago, but it shut down.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're interested in river cruising in a different part of the world, Ama now has this option on the Ama Magdalena.
That's very interesting. I've been saying this for a few years, and I feel like we saw it, and then maybe we saw some setbacks. But I really feel like South America is ripe for North American tourism, just with the improvements to safety in a lot of countries in South America and the increased demand in places like Europe. I feel like it's going to happen. And so I didn't know about this, but I'm not at all surprised. Especially Colombia has been having such a great reputation lately for improvements to their safety, especially for visitors. And yeah, I think we're going to see more of this.
The Alma Magdalena can hold 60 passengers, and it was designed by Colombian craftspeople and woodwork specialists to reflect the region. That's really cool. Our last little bit of cruise news is that MSC just debuted its newest American-based cruise ship, and it is the MSC World America. It will be home porting in Miami. This is the second ship, I believe, that MSC has built purposely for an American audience. They're expecting the guests to be about 60% American and then 40% from other places. MSC, if you're not familiar, is a big cruise company that's based in Europe, and they have a lot of sailings in Europe. And if you're looking for like Mediterranean, you can get better deals than on Royal Caribbean or the other typical American cruise lines. So they're really trying to get into this US market. By doing this, the MSC World America is a lot more like a US based cruise ship than their other, which are more European based. So it has
More
there's-
soft serve machines. Is that the difference?
there's a dueling piano lounge,
Uh-huh.
an all-star sports bar.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you would see on their ships in Europe.
Maybe just dedicated to soccer, typically.
They have a Broadway-style show, Dirty Dancing and concert. Yeah, so it's just, they're trying something new
Yeah.
with this ship. And
Yeah.
it could be fun to see. I'm sure the prices out of Miami are going to be very reasonable.
Yeah.
Like I would expect like Carnival or lower prices.
Yeah. Hey, MSC, we're happy to go. Just send us. We can record a podcast there. We'll let you know how it is.
It would be cool because we've done quite a few cruises now, but yeah, never on a European style cruise line. And
No.
and I think this one is going to be much closer to what you would see from Norwegian or Royal Caribbean or Carnival, but it's still going to be a little different. So yeah, I think it'd be cool to see.
Yep.
I'm sure Doug Parker from Cruise Radio has already covered
yeah.
it. So go over to Cruise Radio. I'm sure he's got
Yeah.
walkthroughs and things
Yeah,
like that.
definitely.
All right, we're going to move over to some US-based travel news. For the first time since 2019, this summer, both water parks will be open in Walt Disney World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon will be open.
But not that abandoned one.
No, River Country's a resort now.
Oh, did they finally rip all that stuff out?
Yeah.
I remember watching those videos of people just like walking around.
No,
really
it's all
doing-
gone. I don't remember what they call it. I don't know if it's open yet, but they are building a DVC resort there.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yes.
Sorry. I just remember when I think of Walt Disney World water park is this ancient water park they built that used just like natural water and
Yeah.
they couldn't control it.
If you wanted to go swimming and get a brain amoeba, it was a great place.
Yeah.
But no, since COVID, they've only been opening one water park at a time. So they would open Blizzard Beach and refurbish Typhoon Lagoon and then flip-flop them. But yeah, this summer, both will be open again, which is good because it is, I don't know if you know this, but it's hot in Florida in the summer. And if you're visiting Disney World, you want that little break from the heat and the concrete. So yeah, that's a good perk if you are visiting Disney World this summer. And this year, they started a thing where if you are staying in a Walt Disney World resort, you can visit the water parks for free on your check-in day. That's a new perk
That's
that
a
they
nice
started
perk.
this year. Yeah, especially because a lot of times you're arriving the middle of the day, and so you don't necessarily want to pay for a full $100 plus park day. So you get that for free, and it's something to do. And this summer, you'll have the option of which water park you'd like to visit. All right, so I saw this next headline, and I thought it was something that you would be very interested in. And it was really hard for me to not tell you about it. The world's first barbecue museum opened in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh. Huh. Interesting.
That's all you have to say?
I'm trying to imagine what a barbecue museum is like. Is it like the Museo de Jamón in Spain, which is not a museum at all? It's not a museum to ham. It's just where you can eat ham. But I'd like to go to Kansas City area for a lot of reasons. It's something we could stop and check out.
Yeah, we were just looking at, what is it, Watkins Mill State Park Campground?
Yeah,
That's near there, isn't it?
and it's just near Kansas City. Yeah, maybe we'll take this here runaway and go to Kansas City.
And go to the new
Go to the
barbecue museum.
Yeah.
So, according to fromers.com, if you've ever wondered about the secret use of rub sauces and cooking techniques that result in succulent barbecue, earlier this month, the Barbecue Museum opened.
Okay, I think I've gotten to why I had this sort of lukewarm reaction to it.
Is it because you don't really love Kansas City barbecue?
Well, it's fine, right? Sorry, okay. We're going to start something, probably. I can't say beef because it's not beef. But like Kansas City barbecue, I feel like is great. They're all like, good luck to all barbecue. That's how I feel. Like it's all good.
So if this was a Texas barbecue, you'd be more interested?
Or Carolina, my favorite styles. Yeah, I might be more excited, but I'm sure it's great. Like in Kansas City barbecue, it's great. I have no problem with it. I will happily eat any barbecue. Yeah.
You'll learn in the museum, you'll learn about the different types of wood that is used, the difference between grilling, barbecuing, and smoking.
Yes.
You'll learn why.
I know a lot of people that need to see that exhibit.
You'll learn why salt is important, and you can steal pitmaster secrets, this article says.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you can even copy Mrs. Lyndon B. Johnson's personal recipe for sauce and go home with a dry rub recipe for authentic
That's very interesting.
Kansas City ribs.
I have that thing behind my work desk that's from Lady Bird. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
so
not
if you're...
a sauce recipe, it's something else.
Was she from Missouri?
No, she's Texan.
Okay.
Like,
So they're putting some Texas barbecue into
they must
this
be.
museum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, our last little piece of news for this episode is that this summer is your last chance to visit Oregon's Crater Lake National Park until 2029.
Oh, no.
It is closing for a years-long construction project.
Like the whole lake?
I'm guessing the park.
It's like pretty big. Anyway, I'm sure it's necessary. It's okay. Maybe we should go. It wasn't in my short-term plan, but now that we can't go, so like, maybe we need to get in there. I'm sure it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
So the Cleetwood Cove Trail is the only legal way to access Crater Lake,
I see.
and it is being closed in 2026 for extensive repairs. So the trail won't reopen until the project's completion. If it all goes to plan, that is expected to be in 2029. In the interim, no boat tours will be provided and the trail will be closed due to construction and rockfall hazards. Crater Lake National Park otherwise will be open during the project, but it sounds like you won't be able to get to the lake.
Probably kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't become into a Lamina Falls Trail situation.
Closed it due to Hurricane Maria in 2016, and they're like, it's going to open in 2019. I think that's what the sign says.
Yeah.
Still, if you go to the recreation area of, we're talking about El Yunque National Forest in Puerto Rico.
That's a trail we really want to do.
Yes. Although if you look on all trails, some people apparently still try to do it and complain about how muddy and terrible it is. It's not open. So what do you expect? If you're going over barricades, you can't complain about what things look like. All right, so that is it for our news roundup for April. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy the warm weather that's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep watching us because next we have an incredible series on Mexico City coming your way. We just went to Mexico City about, 6 weeks ago and had an amazing time. We talked about it a little bit already on one episode, but we're going to have a lot more to say.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
We're going to have an interview with our wonderful tour guide.
Yes, can't wait.
Yes.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
That's all for today's episode of Go See Do Explore. Thanks for joining us in sharing the wonder of travel.
If you want more from each episode, head to GoSeeDoExplore.com, where you'll find blog posts, resources, and extras from our travels.
You can also reach us anytime at podcast@GoSeeDoExplore.com. We love hearing from you.
And if you'd like to support the show, check out GoSeeDoExplore.com/support.
We've got subscriber levels that unlock benefits like our full trip itineraries and notes, a private Discord for travel chat, and even postcards and souvenirs from our adventures.
Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. It helps more travelers like you find us.
Until next time, I'm Christopher.
And I'm Ashley.
Keep exploring, keep discovering, and we'll see you out there.